Hello everyone and welcome to our online launch. My name is Vicky Convey. I am one of the international educators for Nimue Skin Technology. So I'm excited today to share with you our brand new addition to our professional line, a first for us, and that is our professional soothing recovery mask. As you can see from the pink just here, a little sneak peek that this is something for sensitive skin. As the name says, soothing, calming, recovers the skin. So a great addition to already an amazing line of products to treat and target sensitivity and of course sensitization. Now, as a company, when we very first started back in 1994, we actually didn't have this as a skin classification, can you believe? We only had three. We had environmentally damaged, hyperpigmented, problematic, but nothing to treat sensitivity. We then launched it as what you will know as our interactive range. A few products to treat those clients that might come in with a bit of sensitivity. However, nothing that really changed the skin and really kind of tackled this difficult issue within the skin. So we decided in 2023 to look at the range of products that we had, look at reformulations, look at the latest ingredient technology, and we brought to you our sensitive range. We renamed it, we changed it from interactive to sensitive, and we brought you some fabulous products which I am seeing some amazing results. So now you have a great addition, something that is really going to help to treat such a difficult skin, a skin that might be genetically sensitive, a skin that might be scared to come in for a treatment, a skin that might have tried several treatments but seeing no success. So now we have the perfect solution for them. I mentioned to you this area that we are treating sensitivity can be quite, you can say complex. You can also say sometimes for skin therapists it can be quite challenging, but there is a lot more evidence and technology that is really showing us that there is such a link between some key areas. Now, those key areas in particular are, of course, our skin's barrier, which we know at Nimue we constantly thrive, and it's one of our sort of key pillars and key differences to focus on strengthening. But not just that barrier and aiding that protection, it is also looking at our skin's microbiome. This plays such a huge part when it comes to inflammation and also inflammatory skin diseases and disorders. We know that not only is it the barrier, is it the bacteria, but if those two are not working correctly, that also influences that inflammatory cascade. When you go through inflammation, of course, we're going to see that redness, that sensitivity, that pain, discomfort. But for some of your clients, this is an ongoing challenge, an ongoing battle that they have to face. And of course, you know, we want to strengthen that immune system. Who knew that our skin had immunity? But we know that strengthening our skin immunity, helping to decrease inflammation, pain, discomfort, sensitization, strengthening barrier, changing the microorganisms that live on our skin so that we've got the protection, can really help to treat, like I say, quite a challenging and difficult area. So as I mentioned to you, in 2003, we launched our sensitive range with some new technology. We renamed it from interactive to sensitive. We brought you some fantastic retail products, some award-winning retail products actually. Our Soothing Repair Serum won an award in one of our international distributors. We have our amazing moisturizer for day and night, our Daily Calm and Restore, and of course, a firm favourite of mine, our Smart Micro Peel, which has been a great addition with our professional treatments for new clients, for sensitive skins, but also something that we can incorporate into other treatments that we might offer in our business. So extending to that range, we now have our professional soothing recovery mask. So we wanted to strengthen this professional arena. We wanted to give you a mask that you could add into your treatments. We've never had this before at Nimue. It has been something that many people have asked for many years. So that is our lineup of treatment products for treating sensitive skin, not forgetting our cleansing gel light and also our conditioner light to add into those. Now, when we launch those products to you, of course, there is a lot more evidence, a lot more technology out there, looking at how we can really strengthen our skin's immunity and how we can really fight and change the bacteria on our skin. And that comes with biotechnology. We looked at various different plant stem cells. We looked at various different plants that could sort of change the skin's microbiome, and we brought those to you. So it was a mix of dermabiotics, neurocosmetics, working on the pain, the discomfort, the sensation that we know a sensitive skin will have. And of course, we wanted to strengthen the skin. So we called this our skin management system. The Soothing Recovery Mask falls within the sensitive line, but of course you could use it on any particular client showing any areas of sensitization. When you're offering a treatment, of course, it's going to be for a client with any of these following points. So hyperreactive, irritated, inflamed, a little bit of burning, itching, redness, erythema that you might see on the skin. And the results that you're going to get when you use your Soothing Recovery Mask is that you're going to reduce that inflammation. It's going to have a very nice calming and soothing effect. It's nourishing, it's restoring the skin's barrier and of course restoring the microbiome. When you remove the mask, you will feel that the skin feels instantly softer. It is also aided slightly that cellular renewal, so it is helping really to give an overall improvement on texture, decrease heat, pain and discomfort. When the skin is looking healthy and the barrier is performing properly, and you have got a reduction in inflammation, you are also going to see a reduction in fine lines and wrinkles because the health of the skin is improving. So the skin's function of hydration levels, all of that improves, which really helps then your aging concern. Let's think of our client that comes into us, into our business. They might come in and firstly they might be saying, oh, I've got really sensitive skin. And as a therapist, you might look at their skin and you might think, well, is it truly sensitive? Or, are they thinking that it's possibly quite sensitive? Is it sensitized? Or maybe you have a client that comes in and you can visually see their skin, a lot of erythema, maybe some broken capillaries. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what treatment can I do? Is there anything that's going to be really effective? Is there anything that is going to help to calm those irritations, those redness that I see, that erythema that I see? Well, now with the Soothing Recovery Mask, you will see that we are really looking at working on that client. So we have the solution. We are going to look at 3 key functions, 3 key areas with treating our skin with our Soothing Recovery Mask. So first of all, that client, like I said, that comes in with redness and we're a little bit, skeptical to what we might use. Are they going to react to ingredients? We want to, of course, soothe, calm and instantly relieve any pain and discomfort. We also want to ensure that any burning sensation, any heat that is in the skin is also reduced. And then last but not least, overall, we want to leave the skin nourished, hydrated, barrier intact, skin looking and feeling so much calmer and so much more soothed. As I mentioned to you before, when we very first started Nimue, we didn't have this as a skin classification. It was something that was not possibly huge at that particular time. It was something that maybe, You know, we were seeing a lot more in our European countries. I know this is still quite high in a lot of Scandinavian countries, sensitivity, sensitization. But studies have shown that this is a global growing concern. And of course, it is not just our phototypes 1 and 2. It can be skins of all colours that can suffer with sensitivity and sensitization. Our world is changing. Our ecosystem is changing. You know, we're seeing a lot more ground level ozone, a lot more pollution, a lot more of us are living in cities. So that is why you will see a rise on sensitive and a rise of consumers thinking or feeling that their skin is itchy and possible sensitized to that particular environmental factors. So for example, you can see here, you know, a huge amount in Brazil and India, whereas you might possibly have thought, well, they're quite a darker phototype. Surely they don't suffer with sensitivity as much as, let's just say, somebody in Europe. Here you can see again, this is a very recent study, and this shows again a huge area in global concern with sensitivity. And it's not just that, it's allergies, you know, skin allergies, food intolerance, all of those which, you know, relate quite often to sensitivity is also a growing concern globally. I did mention to you sensitive and sensitization. I wanted to just recap this for you. I know you've heard this possibly before when we launched our products, but I think it's always good to remind ourselves that these are two completely different skin issues, but of course they look the same. So if we think of how the skin looks, they're both going to look inflamed, pain, discomfort, itchy. They're going to have an imbalance of microbiome and microbiota. They're possibly both going to have a compromised barrier. But a sensitive skin is more of a genetic skin type, you could say. So when we say a sensitive skin, we mean that they're possibly sensitive all over. As in, you know, they feel itchy on their body, they might have a few underlying allergies, hay fever, asthma, that atopic triad, that kind of genetic type of predisposition. Sensitization can be any of our skin classifications at any time of the year could suffer with sensitization. Of course, weather plays a huge part, medication plays a huge part. So this will be something that will fluctuate. You could have a client that has been coming into you that has your typical environmentally damaged, tough skin. You've been treating them maybe with, you know, your smart resurfacer. All of a sudden they come in and they say, help me, my skin is so red, it's so itchy, it's so sore. And you think, my gosh, their skin has changed. They're having some sensitization. And, you know, you will obviously investigate and do your consultation to find out more. So with our mask, and with our whole system actually, our skin management system, we are treating both sensitive and sensitization. So the three areas that we are addressing with our treatments, with our products, and of course with our professional mask is the skin's microbiome, the barrier, and of course inflammation. Yes, we want to treat inflammation, we want to reduce redness, but we want to strengthen that immune system. We want to strengthen that barrier. We want to strengthen that skin's microbiome, which works with the barrier. All of those play a huge part in controlling inflammation in general. So when we kind of tick all of those three contributing factors, ensuring that the ingredients treat and target those. So let's look at the barrier. As you know, it is our brick wall. It is fundamental to protecting our skin from external environmental aggressors, to internally keeping hydration, moisture levels, keeping, of course, our skin, our bones, our muscles, everything intact. That's what our skin and our barrier does. When it is compromised, when we have cracks in that brick wall, things are going to get into the skin. So you can see there an increase in permeability, so things can enter in, things can escape. We can have transepidermal water loss, which is dehydration. That can then trigger inflammation. So we want to restore those barrier lipids. We want to restore our skin's natural barrier. Of course, we want to avoid anything that is going to dry and strip the skin. So looking at a good cleanser like Cleansing Gel Light is key. Inflammation. So I just briefly spoke about inflammation to you. So you could have inflammation because your barrier is not great, and that could be perhaps something that just flares up, or you could have chronic inflammation where it is ongoing, a skin issue, something like rosacea, something like dermatitis, eczema, where you have chronic inflammation. So we want to reduce that inflammatory state that the skin is, but we also want to strengthen your skin's response. So we want to help your skin to fight against that inflammatory factors that keep happening within the skin. So that, of course, is going to help visually to reduce the erythema that you will see on the skin, but it is also going to strengthen the skin. And as you know, at Nimue, we want to get to the cause. We want to get right to this area and help to treat and, of course, help to strengthen it. Last but not least, our imbalanced skin microbiome. So this is the newer area of technology, you could say. Looking at that whole dysbiosis, looking at the imbalance of bacteria that we know plays such a huge part with inflammation. In particular, things like eczema, dermatitis, it has been shown that the microbiome is completely different. So, sometimes what we do to our skins can often cause this imbalance. Like I said, cleansing, stripping, not using, great products on our skin can cause an imbalance of microbiome. We want to increase our good microbiota. We want to change the dysbiosis, change the type of bacteria that is living on our skin. We want to change the composition. And of course, we want to then decrease that inflammatory state. So when we do that, it is going to help to alleviate any of that redness, inflammation and dryness. So how do we do that? That is, of course, with all of the products to treat sensitivity. We want to, first of all, help the barrier, restore the barrier, protect the skin, reduce inflammation, strengthen our immune system, balance our skin's microbiome, which in turn is going to give you a calmer, soothed, nourished, hydrated skin. So first up, we have looking at our immunity and reducing that inflammatory aspect. So we are going to look at our sensory regulator to do this, which is of course our neurocosmetic. You will be familiar with this ingredient. We have used it already with our sensitive products. So this is from berries that you see in the picture here. It is going to offer an immediate cooling and soothing. It works on something which is called our neurosensory chain. And what that does is it helps with that stinging and burning. So when you put a product on with our sensory regulator, it is alleviating that discomfort that a client will feel. Now let's take a look at what actually happens when we have this heat, this pain, this discomfort and this itchiness on the skin. What is happening underneath? Well, as you know, your skin is very clever and it has coping mechanisms to deal with heat, pain, discomfort. Various receptors are there within the skins that are on alert to help deal with this kind of situation. So let's imagine we've got heat on the skin. It's causing our skin to go through discomfort and pain. What is happening is we've got a release of a receptor which is called TRPV1, a bit of a mouthful. And this particular receptor's job is to regulate the body's temperature, so to calm and soothe and get everything under control. It does this by releasing calcium. It releases calcium into the cells so that they can cause a cascade of different events. They can release other different substances which basically calm inflammation. So calm and soothe. We've got heat on the skin. We need to just get rid of that heat and soothe the skin as quickly as possible. This is a normal skin's response when you have, exposure to excessive heat or chemical stimulus. When we have a sensitive skin, the skin, you can say, is already heightened. That particular receptor is already on alert. So it's already heightened, waiting for excessive heat. So if you expose your skin then to heat, so as an example, you go out into the warm South African sun, which is, very hot, and you already have a stimulation happening and you already have inflammation happening, it's just really going to exacerbate the whole effect, which is causing further symptoms of irritation, inflammation, and itch. So our goal of the sensory regulator is to decrease this. So let's take a look now at how this works in particular. The function of the sensory regulator therefore decreases the activation of the TRPV1. So when you have a decrease in the activation of this receptor, the influx of calcium is controlled. So therefore you get less irritation, less burning, less pain, less discomfort. So it works on, you can see there, blocking or controlling that calcium, which in turn is calming and soothing the skin. It's not on hyper alert. You don't have that increase or activation of that particular receptor. Again, if you have a look here, when you apply the Soothing Recovery Mask, which contains the sensory regulator, that is really working on regulating that overexpression, that increase of calcium, which basically is calming, soothing those nerve endings, soothing that pain, soothing that heat that we know is really happening with the sensitive skin and sensitization. When we look at the skin's microbiome, we know that this also plays such a huge part. For us, we have spoken about our skin's microbiome when we relaunched our problematic range, our purifying range of products to really treat and target not only acne, breakouts, but also inflammation, and of course to control the skin's microbiome and get it in a nice balanced state. When it comes to sensitivity, this also plays such a huge part. So retaining balance in the skin's microbiome, and of course balancing the environmental assaults that cause this imbalance of our microbiota. A big focus for us is to restore the well-being of the cells, maintaining skin health, and also for us to protect the skin, protect it against the constant inflammatory aspects that we face on a daily basis, pollution, environmental things like heating, weather extremes. And also we want to rejuvenate the skin's microbiome. Studies have shown that this does age. So not only do our skin cells age, and we know that things start to slow down, our microbiota can also age and can also slow down with its function and its ability to, really balance the skin. So we want to rejuvenate, we want to re-energize that. And that is a big part of the Soothing Recovery Mask and the whole range for treating sensitive skin. We also want to strengthen our skin and strengthen our skin's microbiome. If we think about it, it works as our barrier. It's the top layer. It fights against all those external aggressors. So we really want to protect against inflammation. I just spoke then about pollution and external sort of heat, cold and aggressors that might cause inflammation. But also things like excessive redness. We've just looked at that activation of our TVRP1, looking at the possible link between chronic inflammation and aging. So we want to add that protective mechanism and really protect and promote a healthy skin's microbiota. This will be a familiar ingredient for you. We have used this before many times. It is the food for our bacteria, which is our inulin. As you know, inulin is going to provide food, which is going to nourish the bacteria, allowing it to thrive and to grow. Inulin, as you can see, is derived from yogurt. It is a friendly type of bacteria and it works excellently at strengthening the microbial barrier. So taking, as you can see in the image here, an unhealthy skin with an unhealthy lipid barrier into a healthy barrier. So this is a key component with treating sensitivity and sensitization. Next, we want to strengthen the barrier. We also want to moisturize and hydrate the skin. So we want to nourish the skin. We want to prevent that transepidermal water loss, prevent that inflammatory cascade from kicking in. We are using squalane. Now, squalane is a fantastic ingredient. It's a natural skin emollient to hydrate, to really maintain the skin's barrier. It is rich in moisture, it helps the skin's barrier, and of course our squalane that we're using is from a natural source. You can see the picture here from our sugarcane. It is not to be confused with squalene, which is derived from animals, in particular sharks. And not only does it moisturize, but it also helps to increase your cell turnover, so your skin functions much better. The health of your skin is improved. And when we're talking barrier, this is an absolute must. We love, love, love this ingredient. It is in our pre and post, it is in our TDS, it is in our Neutralizer Plus, our Smart Resurfacer, our Isosterol Isosterate. It's almost like an invisible cement, you can say. It bonds in between the skin cells, it melts into the skin, helping to protect against external aggressors, prevent transepidermal water. As you know, at Nimue, we believe in always treating the cause and not just the symptoms. We've looked and recapped today at the cause of sensitivity and why we are seeing excessive redness and feeling heat on the skin. We spoke about those amazing ingredients that are really working on reducing inflammation, but also protecting the skin. And that is absolutely essential to our clients with sensitivity and sensitization. Our Soothing Recovery Mask is the perfect addition now to your professional lineup. It is a professional only product and it can be used on all your skin classifications. Key selling points and points to note from our Soothing Recovery Mask. Very much like our lineup of sensitive products, when we launched them to you, we gave you an overview of things that they are free from. So this is no exception. Our Soothing Recovery Mask is also free from preservatives, fragrance, lanolin, your cortisone, which is quite often used to treat inflammation. The consistency of the products is not from mineral oil or they don't have a petroleum base. So the nourishing aspect that you get from your Soothing Recovery Mask is not from petroleum. The emollient aspect that you'll find within our Soothing Recovery Mask, remember, is from our squalane. So that is what is really giving you that thicker, nourishing texture. Key points to highlight why you would use your Soothing Recovery Mask. It is fast acting. You're going to apply the mask. Your client is going to feel instantly the heat decrease, the pain, the discomfort is going to be soothed, and that is, you know, a really good feeling for a client with sensitive skin. Once you remove the mask, the skin is going to feel nourished and hydrated. All of those amazing ingredients are going to restore the skin's microbiome. They're going to protect the skin, reducing further inflammation on the skin, and provide that soft suppleness instantly that they're going to feel on their skin after a treatment. Let's recap now our Soothing Recovery Mask. Let's bring everything together that we've just discussed. So this is a professional treatment mask. It can be used on 4 skin classifications because remember, sensitization can be on anybody's skin. It is going to really help to work at reducing itchiness, balance the skin's microbiome, help with the skin's barrier, and of course offer that pain, decrease, comfort, reduction of itch, and general, you could say, heat as well. How are you going to apply it onto the skin? You're going to decant in your glass bowl. You're going to apply like you would with any of our masks with a brush, with a slightly wet, damp brush. You're going to avoid the eye area, apply face, neck and décolleté. We've given you approximate times. You can leave it for a maximum of 10 minutes. However, go on the skin's response. Everybody's skin's tolerance is different. If you apply it on the skin and they say it really feels tingly, then you can remove. So it can be anything from 3 to 10 minutes. How you remove, I would recommend to remove when you're treating a sensitive skin with your disposable compress, soft gauze, anything that is not going to cause any further, you can say any further inflammation on the skin. So you don't want to be doing a lot of friction, a lot of rubbing. Very calm, easy, sort of soothing movements, and also, you know, your disposable compress that is not going to cause too much irritation. You might be asking yourself, okay, so what treatment can I incorporate this into, and what client can I, you know, use this mask on? Well, yes, of course, it's going to be sensitive skin and anybody who's suffering with sensitization. But it could be that you've done a peel and you've noticed that the skin is quite red and you wanting to use a mask that is instantly going to cool and soothe. We all love our alginate mask, so, you know, we might have been using this in the past, but this is also a great addition. So, you know, remember that this will also help to reduce any itchiness if they're feeling it from the peel. If they have an impaired barrier, you can also apply this mask. Of course, if you are doing microneedling treatments, we wouldn't advise this mask because you've created those microchannels. So it is something that you can incorporate after any peel, or of course you can incorporate it for a sensitive skin or sensitization. So some selling points of the mask: it offers immediate skin comfort, nourishes, hydrates, repairs the barrier, restores the skin's microbiome, and of course helps to alleviate any itchiness on the skin. So let's take a look at our Smart Micro Peel. This is what we brought to you when we launched our Smart Micro Peel. Was a treatment, a brand new 30-minute treatment that you could offer again on any skin classification, and of course on a new client, somebody new. Our step-by-step treatment for treating sensitivity and sensitization. You'll be familiar with this step-by-step. It is the same when we launched our Smart Micro Peel. The difference is we've replaced the mask. So we have now this fantastic addition, our Soothing Recovery Mask. So this is going to sit on top of your Smart Micro Peel. Remembering that the movements that we use are slow and gentle. When it comes to removal of the mask, we recommend that you use your disposable compress or some cotton pads, something that is going to not cause any further inflammation to the skin. Once you've removed the mask, your hyaluronic acid gel, and of course not forgetting your SPF 40, or if you wanted to perhaps use a sample of your SPF 50. Thank you all for listening to our online launch today. We did a recap of sensitivity, sensitization, what is happening with our skin, and of course looking at our brand new addition, which I know you are going to love in the treatment room. To me, this is the perfect addition. This now really sets the bar with offering that skin service for treating a sensitive, sensitized skin, and of course helping to alleviate all of those aspects that we know comes with this difficult skin to treat. Thank you very much. Goodbye.